What are we talking about today then, Kelly?
Ooh, first day of school vibes. Everybody's back. It's all buzzy. Everybody's excited to see each other. And of course, all the things that you've prepared for um, to go wrong are not the things that go wrong. It's the other things that you didn't think about that they go wrong. It was our start of orientation. So all the faculty back, and there was, the buzz and everybody talking. And I had the first session of the day training on the new student record system, which I got trained on 3 days ago because I contacted our person in New York and said, please, could you train me? I'm supposed to be teaching all the academics how to do this on Monday. So yeah, that was no pressure there. And as these things happen, didn't work. Nobody could get in to do what they were meant to do. And it was pretty much a wash. But that's all right.
No.
I got to meet some people and do some problem solving on the fly in front of my new boss, which is always, lovely.
Oh.
But never mind.
So frustrating for you.
Got through it. It was it's like Kelly's top tips for induction. Whatever you think is going to go wrong is not the thing that's going to go wrong.
No,
it will
true.
be something that is totally different to what you prepared for and what you've ever seen before. And you think, where did that come from? and you just have to roll with it and keep a smile on your face and apologize sincerely and try and fix it as fast as humanly possible and hope that people will extend some grace, and we're all human.
Yeah.
But yeah, it never fails. Every year it's something completely different than what you're expecting it to be. So one of my very favorite bits of I was gonna say Colonel Haddock. No, that's the guy from Tintin. Colonel Hadfield, the astronaut. His book about life, astronauts' life lessons for people on Earth. Anyway, that's not the title. I'll tell you the real title later. But he talks about, prepare for what's the next thing that could kill you. When you're dealing space, everything is life death situation. But he translates that into like real people on Earth who don't go into space, how you can take those principles into your life. Anyway, it's a fantastic book. I'll tell you more about it later, but it's I always think about that. It's like you have to be prepared for what's the next thing that could fall over, and I always try and take that mentality into induction, but there's always something that's a surprise. So never mind.
Yep, true fact.
True story.
Yeah, I always try and have a backup thing. If I'm doing training or that's technical or something, I always try and think in the back of my mind, like, what will I do? What will we do instead if this all, like, no one can log in and it's all a disaster? Because I've had that happen quite a lot of times, like with temps and stuff for clearing, because their accounts are always a bit difficult, and so I'm always like, right, we'll start with the thing that I think may go wrong, and then I've got something else that they need to do anyway. It's just like always having that backup. So the first thing we would get them to do is like, right, can you all log in? And then we'd have a list of like 12 of the 40 that couldn't log in, so then I'd send an officer off to like IT to sort them out while we did something else. But yeah, I think it's always good, especially if you're really nervous about doing some training or something, is to have something. Okay, well, if people can't log in, if the system goes down, what we're going to do for the next 45 minutes, and have something in the back of your mind.
Yeah.
It's like when I'm doing presentation, I'm always like, I need to be able to do it without the slides. It's my philosophy.
I think often presentations are better without the slides, aren't they? Because then it's not like, and here's what the slide says.
Yeah. I don't put
Like
much on mine. People, whenever I speak,
Yeah.
people do speaking. People are always like, "Oh, can you share the slides? Is that okay for us to share afterwards?" I'm like, "Yeah, but they're not going to give you much. I just
Yeah,
have like a couple of words."
I sometimes will make a backup set. So actually the slides that go out are not the ones I've spoken to, because the ones that go out have more points on them.
That's a good idea.
Thanks.
I usually have lots of notes along the bottom. So if someone's reading the slides later, they'll get some of the things that I said that if you're just reading it cold, you wouldn't. But yeah, I do put too much on my slides because although not as much as I once had a professor who, I kid you not, was like 87 slides for his 30-minute talk to us. And I got that, and he kept saying, this is so you can refer back to it later. So he was just packing it full of information. But in the moment, it was like, what's going on?
It's like, at that
I don't even know what he said.
No, and at that point, he might as well have prepared a handout instead. Have decent slides and a separate handout instead of trying to make the slides function in both roles.
I had a lecturer at university. Now this is 20 years ago, but I did history, and he would write out his lecture, like an hour and a half lecture or 2 hours, whatever it was, write it out, like type it all out, and then he would hand them out, like hand out the printed thing. Then he would proceed to read it at us, and I was like, I could just like read this in 15 minutes or whatever, and then can we just ask questions? Let's just have quiet reading time. That was an absolute that was obviously in the days before when like the virtual learning environments and stuff were just kind of emerging, and history was not a department that was particularly keen to engage with them. But that was probably the most painful thing. But he did do the talk on he did the modern history, like big core module, and he used to get on the desk and wave a lightsaber around sometimes for dramatic effect. So my overriding memory of the chap were those long sheets of paper and the lightsaber. So a prop perhaps is something we need to factor in.
I remember that next workshop I give, have a prop, maybe some funny glasses or a hat. Take it off, put it back on, and everybody's wondering what's she going to do with the hat. But I had a teacher in high school who used to he would do very odd things. He was very entertaining. But one day if he got frustrated with us, he would step away from his lectern. He would bend over and scream into the lectern, and then he would stand back, or he would just walk out. Hello? And he was like, I'm done with you people. It's like, okay. We'll just sit here quietly and read the assignment we were supposed to read.
I had a maths teacher that used to just like throw chalk at you if you didn't stop talking, or like an exercise, but probably not allowed to do that these days.
Yeah, that was the kind of thing he would do.
Yeah, I think there's some eccentricities eccentricities of people are part of it, and we're not obviously not saying that lots of these things are great delivery presentation techniques, but it does show that you remember the non-standard. Like sometimes someone puts together a really, really brilliantly researched, structured, prepared presentation, and it is really impressive. But sometimes it's the ones that are that bit more kind of a little bit less polished, have that authenticity about them, or have that kind of slightly weirdness. I think when someone's personality comes through, and I noticed that I've been to talks sometimes where you can tell someone's maybe given a similar sort of talk and they've kind of learnt it by rote. And it just sounds too prepared and not as much of a conversation. So I do have, when I'm like doing scary, intimidating talks, like I do have it pretty much written out, but I'm quite practiced at making it sound like I'm not reading off the paper. But also I talk really fast. It really slows me down to do that. So I look at the sentence, and I keep them short when I'm talking and speaking anyway. So like a short sentence, and I can say the whole sentence. But I try and, in my mind, I'm constantly like, I'm having a conversation with these people. I'm having a conversation. I'm not just broadcasting. That's my strategy, is to think about like, this is a conversation, and that keeps the more natural rhythm of how you're speaking. So it doesn't turn into like something that's really, really dry. And keep the random unexpected bits in that they think they know where you're going with something, and then like throw it on its head or take a sudden different direction, and then that wakes everyone up a little bit. So I think sometimes if it's too perfect, it's like too smooth, it can be a little dull whilst brilliant at the same time.
I increasingly think that with like video content as well. I haven't done video for apart from this, obviously, for a little while, but I'm really thinking about getting back to it and like increasingly just thinking I'm just going to leave I'm not going to do edits really, because I think in the realm of AI generated content, like actually just having someone's ums and ahs is quite endearing as long as it's not horrific. I quite like it. I think it's nice to see there's a real person there.
Yeah. More human.
Yeah. That's why I often use one of our outtakes as the teaser trailer
Yeah,
for
me too.
next week for the episode.
Life lessons for people on Earth. What?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, is
Yeah.
this all turned into an episode that we didn't intro?
It feels like it.
I feel like we've done a good 15 minutes on presentation skills.
Yeah, we have done. It started on about induction. I just turned the camera on, so. And then we
There you
keep
go.
all of this stuff in too. And it'll make editing easier.
Yeah.
I agree with you though, because it then also feels, if it's too edited and it's too slick, it doesn't feel, particularly this kind of dynamic, if we edit it too tightly, it doesn't feel like a conversation anymore. It's like three people speaking. The slight overlaps and the interactions and the ums and the nods are really helpful. I was on a panel earlier today and we had lapel mics and they're really, really sensitive. So if you just literally went, it like picked it up. So we had to keep turning them off. Because me and the person sat next to me, we're both as like I thought it was going to sound like there's some little like cows in the corner going Anyway, they weren't. The university that I went to, which shall remain nameless, although everyone can do the math and work out where it was, but they had umbrellas that you could hire for up to 3 days at a time, like scan out. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. But it didn't rain till after I'd left, so I couldn't borrow the umbrella.
How much was the rental charge?
Well, rental's a dramatic word. They were free for 3 days, but you had to put your card, like swipe your credit card. So if you kept it for longer than 3 days, I guess it would charge you and you could keep it. But frankly, they were branded. But also, we had water bottles that are made of paper. It's an amazing new design, like from the research part of the institution. This is University of Surrey. I'm just saying, it's all good things I'm saying. I don't know why I was going to say who it was, but they have there's amazing research they've done. So they've got these like that, so you can use them for like 20 or 30 times, and then they're compostable or whatever before they disintegrate. And I was like, this is very cool. So they're very, very light as well. And you could potentially sell. So because I saw everyone with these like completely white bottles, and I was like, this is very strange. Why have they all got these white bottles? But yes, the DVC introduced it. It's very interesting. Paper bottles.
Research in action. Gotta love it.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice.
Oh.
And cut.
Now we need to sign off.
I've actually remembered to bring my mug today.
Oh, well done. Do you want to sign us off now with a wave of your mug?
Well, this side's got lipstick on, so maybe not. Hang on, let me move this.
If I got the tea break. We'll see you next time.
I get loads of glare.
You're not very good at the product placement.
No.
Do you need to do that? Change the lighting for better product placement. Kelly's got it. She's doing it very artistically, look. The product placement.
Ting!
This episode is brought to you by APT.
Well, that would be a funny ending.
I like a funny ending.
Yeah.